Well, looky who we have here. If you're back, it means you either accidentally stumbled across this video or you're curious as to what happens in Squid Game Season 2. Yeah. And let me tell you something. I'm here to deliver. Squid Game Season 2 released late last year, releasing with about 7 episodes, all on Netflix all at once. And best know, I watched all of them all at once. I actually enjoyed myself watching this season a little more than I enjoyed watching the first season. And maybe it was because everything was kind of different and I was looking forward to this season a little more than I was looking forward to the first one. But I went into this season with a little bit more high expectations than I did last season. And let me tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. While managing to keep a lot of the same story tropes as the first season, Squid Game Season 2 builds on the first season in just about every good way you can think of, adding more important characters, new stakes, and a level of darkness that we kind of haven't seen before. While it does feel familiar, at the same time, it feels nice and fresh. You get a hint of nostalgia with a hint of new and things to come. I enjoy that very, very much. Not to mention the emotional stakes are much higher in this season. Spoiler alert, but god damn, does shit hit the fan.
No, God!
Since I don't want to get too deep into it without spoilers, I'm going to put the timestamp of when to skip to get my review and what I liked about the video. I didn't do that in the last one because, well, it was my first video. Cut me some slack, man. If you've come from my last video, you know that this is going to be a 3-part mini-series where I review each season of Squid Game and talk about the pros and cons of each season and see which season is the best. This is the second part in the series, and if we get enough likes, or if I just feel like it, we're going to post another one tomorrow. Just because we can. Without further ado, this is a new experience for me, so please consider liking and subscribing, and let's get into it. A year after the first game concludes, Gi-Hyun is left depressed with red hair and a nice fat tracker in his side. Yeah, remember how they called him at the end of the first season? That's how they found him. They retconned that pretty quickly, though. We are shown the great lengths that Gi-Hyun has gone to find the games, including the hiring of a criminal organization to find these people, alongside Junho, who, if you don't remember, is the cop in the first season. You know, brother of the big bad. Yeah, he comes along for this and enlists his buddy, the captain. To make a long story rather short, their plan is to find the recruiter from the last season. Do you remember the guy that he played Dachi with? Yeah, that guy. Find him, make him talk about where the island is, go to the island again, and end the games for good. Solid plan. Gi-Hyun's plan was to sneak into this new island with a tracking device implanted in his tooth.
Stop. What do you mean by that?
As you can probably guess, this plan goes to shit very, very quickly. Soon as he wakes up, he very quickly realizes that the tracking implant they put in his tooth is gone. Quickly, you're introduced to the new cast of characters that are going to be your new family for this new season. Please forgive me, but I'm going to refer to them as this person and that person because I cannot remember all their names. There is absolutely no way I'm going to be able to go back and pronounce every single name with absolute 100% accuracy. So if you're wondering who I'm talking about, just look at the screen. Player 456, also known as Gi-Hyun, runs into another friend of his in the game. What is it with this guy and having a bunch of broke-ass friends? Maybe that's why he's broke.
I can't eat! I'm broke, nigga!
In the beginning, I hated this dude, but I loved him after a while. Very much like the first season, the second season starts off with a nice big game of red light, green light. Very much like the first season, this first game is more for introducing each character and showing how each character reacts under intense stress, and how they react towards death. Some of them react well, and others like it a little too much. Do not trust this guy. Even though he's one of my favorite characters, he's definitely fucking evil. Just look at him. Now, my one complaint that I'll start off with the bat about Season 2 right now is there are a lot of storylines to cover, and there was no way I'm going to be able to talk about every single one of them in just one video. So, we're going to leave this guard storyline until Season 3 to talk about because it's a little more prevalent in Season 3 than it is in Season 2, even though it's set up in Season 2. Anyway, same as last time, the players take full advantage of the voting system in between each game. Now, originally, I thought this was going to be a dumb idea, but after seeing the way they actually make each character grapple with the decision of staying or leaving, I actually decided that I do enjoy these scenes quite a bit. I think it's kind of an interesting way to add a little bit more tension into the story that's already more tense. You see how the decisions truly weigh on each character and how important each decision is into the next. Feel the weight of each decision, and each vote feels like a vote on your own life as you watch it. That might be a tad dramatic, but it's still a very interesting layer, and I think it was a very good decision filmmaking-wise. I think it adds a little bit more flavor that we didn't have in the first season. So with everyone's side firmly established, we now have a divide between the players, those who want to play and those who don't want to play, which becomes a theme throughout the story as they pit the two sides against each other. So forgot to mention that part of the gang is the frontman himself.
What?
A little bit of dramatic irony there. We'll get more into why his dynamic is interesting in the game itself as not just a frontman, but actually a buddy and almost a brother of Gi-hoon. That's for later. I have to say that I was a fan of Squid Game before this season. But if there is anything that made me a bigger fan of this season, was this game in specific. This game in particular is the best television I think I've ever watched. There's something about the way they do this scene that is better than the entire show. All the characters, everybody cheering, everybody vibing, hanging on to absolutely every move everybody makes for a tense but awesome scene. The juxtaposition of the wackiest music mixed with people playing a children's game for their lives makes for a scene you will never forget. Like, how was that not comedy gold? This is also in and around the time where you're kind of introduced to the main characters that you're going to have to care about for the rest of the season. First, we have Young Sik and his mom. Young Sik's the dude, both in debt from getting scammed out of a casino, I believe. And I'm pretty sure his mom is in debt from helping him get out of debt, which is an odd dynamic, but to see the two interact is actually quite sweet and wholesome at times, but makes for a more mature story later on. And then, of course, player one, who Gi-hoon assumes is some random poor man in debt. We have Joon-hee, the pregnant lady. Coincidentally enough, Joon-hee's baby daddy is another player named Moon-gi. Moon-gi is a meme coin owner that pulled a crazy carpet pull on 3 of the other contestants and lost his money. I thought that shit was fucking hilarious. The next game up happens to take runner-up for probably my favorite game of the entire show. Ring Around a Rosie. Unlike real Ring Around the Rosie, it has a musical chair element where players must match the amount of players to the number on the top of the room. And if they don't make it to the room in time, then they get shot. So it makes for a tense team building exercise in a way. And it's fun to watch all the players scramble and pick sides in order to survive. At one point, that dude forgets his mom. I thought that shit was awesome. After the Ring Around Rosie game, there was a bit of a kerfuffle back in the quarters, and the guards have decided that it's now time for the special game. If you don't remember what the special game from the first one was, it was when the lights went out and everyone tried to kill each other. So that very same thing happens again, but instead of helping, this time Gi-hoon convinces a small group of people to stay hidden so that they can cause a rebellion by playing dead after the lights come back on. This actually works, and they actually kind of form a sort of coup with a couple of the people taking on some of the guards and stealing their guns. But they are heavily outmatched and heavily outnumbered. They try to rally with the other players by pleading with them to help them, saying that these people cannot be allowed to get away with the games they've started and that we are not horses, we are people. But a lot of them don't really give a shit. The core group, armed to the teeth with guns, now tries to storm the castle by taking on the people directly. It's also kind of fun to watch the frontman partake in his own uprising. By the way, a lot of them are already pre-trained soldiers because North Koreans are actually forced to do military service. I'm pretty sure South Koreans are too, and that's why all of them can shoot guns. Well, all of them except for this guy. I hate this guy. They quickly run out of ammo and send Junho back to the main room to grab ammo for the rest of the team. But Junho gets scared and does not return with the extra ammo, leaving the other players to either get shot or captured, which unfortunately leads to one of the most heartbreaking, gut-wrenching scenes you'll ever see in TV.
Player 456. Did you have fun playing the hero? Now, witness the consequences of your little game.
So Junbei gets packed up pretty quickly and player 456 is thrown right back into the game. At this time, I would like to acknowledge that the scene that I just showed you takes place in the exact same show and season as this scene. I fucking love this show. The season ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, but that doesn't take away from the fact that I still enjoyed it. 2 thumbs up. I give this season a strong 9.5 out of 10 just for the basic enjoyment of the show itself. I've never really watched a show that I enjoyed just as much, and I'm excited to see what they do next. If you've watched this far, I'd just like to extend a thank you for watching the whole video, and please consider liking and subscribing. I'll see you next time for...
Talking bitch, we up there. We ain't really with that talking bitch, we up. We ain't really with that talking bitch, we up there.